Don't try this stuff at home.
Remember, we are professionals.
Who are the Mythbusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
Whack, hang you.
No, I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
All right, Jamie, what myth do we have today?
Well, rumor has it, by placing a candle in a freezer, that it should extend the longevity of its burning life.
Wow, you know what? I never thought of that before, but that sounds like a plausible myth. I think we should go ahead and try it. You have any ideas about how we should go about this?
I think we ought to take 2 candles and we'll place one in a freezer and we'll keep the other one out of the freezer and go from there.
Well, looks like the boys are going to start off by placing a candle in the freezer.
Hey, Jamie, I've got an idea for you. So, what candle do you think is going to burn faster?
I actually believe the candle not placed in the freezer will burn faster.
You do, huh? Well, I actually think the other candle's going to burn faster. So, why don't we put some money on it and make it interesting?
Sounds like a good idea.
Oh, all right, sucker.
All the bets have been placed, and Jamie starts construction on the candle holders. Three hours later, Adam grabs the candle out of the freezer and puts it in position. The boys set the stage, and the lighting ceremony can begin. After 11 grueling hours, the victor wins by only 1/4 of an inch.
All right, Adam. My candle won. Time to pay up.
Ugh, take your stinking $40. All right, Jamie. Well, we had 2 candles. We placed one in the freezer for 3 hours, and we had one set out, which was our control. And we burned them both, and we had some very interesting results.
Yes, Adam, we did have some very interesting results. I noticed the candle that we did not place in the freezer had a tendency to burn just a little bit quicker than the one that was placed in the freezer. Now, I do know that the substance in which both these candles are made out of is a paraffin-based substance, which paraffin acts as a fuel. So, in turn, makes the candles burn extremely slower than a natural-based candle that would have been made out of carnauba wax or out of beeswax.
They were neck and neck there for a while, but the room temperature one ended up burning faster than the other one. So this one's plausible.
Well, it would definitely be plausible. So what do you have there, Adam? The test results from your mail-in IQ test?
Well, actually, no. I was thinking about sending in your pink slip to management. But believe it or not, there's actually a myth revolved around this letter.
So what do you got?
Well, there's a bunch of techniques out there floating around on the internet about opening an envelope, examining its contents without the receiver ever knowing about it.
Well, with the increase in identity theft lately, I think we ought to try that. Tackle it one method at a time.
Excellent. When we're finished, I can even send in your pink slip.
Give me that.
There are supposedly 2 ways to tackle this myth. The first way will be putting an envelope in the freezer to try and loosen the glue.
To Jamie.
Nothing to do now, but wait. The second myth is trying to open the ladder by using steam from a pot of water. Meanwhile, Adam prepares the letter.
I'm writing a nice letter for Jamie, so if this steam trick does work.
Jamie decides to stand guard until the water boils.
Who says a wash pot never boils?
The water is boiling. Time to test out the first myth.
Hey, Jamie, here you go.
If I could do this without getting burned. Hey, Adam, you think you could fetch me a pair of tongs?
There you go.
It's getting immensely hot over here.
Jamie tries to open it.
This is ridiculously hot over here. Yeah, we've been at it for like 5 minutes. I don't think this. I think this myth's been busted. Steaming an envelope doesn't do nothing but cook it.
Sorry, Jamie, but you're still gonna have to open this one.
Oh my gosh, it didn't work? Look how much water we used. Oh! Oh, the handle's hot too. Oh man. You know, I'm amazed that this didn't work. I thought for sure. I mean, everybody I think and their brother knows that steam will open a sealed envelope.
Yeah, me too. I've heard about it. Seen it in a lot of movies.
Well, I guess we've shown that heat has no effect. Let's see if cold does.
After being in the freezer for half the day, the first letter is ready to be opened.
No, it doesn't do a darn thing. All right, Jamie, so what's all this?
Well, actually, there is a second part to this myth. Instead of merely opening the envelope, sometimes it can be sprayed onto the envelope to see through it, the transparency of the envelope, to see the items inside of it.
All right, well, we have 6 different items here. I mean, one of them should work, including the Myth Musk Cologne.
Now the second part of this myth is simple. The boys will take turns spraying different liquids onto the envelopes in order to see the contents inside. First up, the Myth Musk Cologne.
Yeah, why don't you just use these cotton swabs instead of your fingers?
Why don't you use cotton swabs?
Next up, rubbing alcohol. Next is the water. Now they'll try the nail polish remover. Now for the glass cleaner. Last but not least, vodka. Although each one is able to see the words clearly through the envelopes, the real test is to see what happens after they dry.
Okay, the first one we tested was the Musk Cologne, and you could kind of see through it, but it just left ominous odor. Yeah, so that wouldn't be too good.
And the rubbing alcohol, it seemed to work a little better, but I mean, you could kind of see through it. Made it a little transparent, but I don't know. I wasn't too impressed with it, but it dried fine. It dried nice and clean.
Well, we tested the water next, and it just left the thing looking like it was soaked or fell into a puddle, and I wouldn't recommend that.
Now the nail polish remover, I was pretty impressed with that. That made it transparent where you could see it and left it fairly undamaged. I mean, you know, that looks like it went through the postal service.
And it left it pretty much undetectable. All right, the next one was the Windex. That same thing with the water, just left a film that made it look like it was dropped in a puddle.
Now the vodka, I would say I wasn't too impressed with it. It's still fairly saturated. It didn't really
Yeah.
dry up that good. I'd leave that one in the cupboard for drinking. That one didn't do good. It's kind of like the water. It just left it and made it look like it sat in a mud puddle overnight.
Well, as you know, Jamie, there are two different kinds of envelopes. Is there any one worthy of trying to get through a security envelope?
I would say probably the nail polish remover would be my best guess.
I would have to agree. Either the nail polish or the rubbing alcohol, I think, would probably be the most undetectable. So let's try it and see what we come up with.
All right.
The table is cleared for one final test. First up, nail polish on a security envelope.
Oh,
Looking good. Round 2, using rubbing alcohol on a security envelope.
All right, Jamie, we tested both the products and we came up with some very interesting results. Well, I tried the nail polish remover, and on the plus side, I was able to see through the envelope. On the negative side, you couldn't read the paper that well. And also, the ink on the paper bled right onto the security envelope. So after it dried, you could tell that this envelope had been tampered with.
well, when I used the rubbing alcohol, I noticed that it made it very legible. You could almost read it word for word through the security envelope. The downside to it is it made the ink bleed, and you could tell that it's been tampered with.
All right, Jamie, let's hear the verdict on these. Opening a letter by using steam.
Busted.
Using a letter using deep freeze.
Busted.
Using rubbing alcohol.
I'd have to say semi-plausible.
By using cologne.
Busted.
All right, using water.
Busted.
Nail polish.
Plausible.
I think out of all of them, this is probably the best contender.
Definitely.
Using vodka.
Busted.
Busted. Using rubbing alcohol to see through a security envelope.
Busted.
Using nail polish.
Busted.
There you go. Busted.